This case is empty.
What do you mean, empty?
Empty. The opposite of full. This case is supposed to be full!
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of Digital Fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Today's deck is a new iteration on one of my favorites. This one's called the Empty, and we're taking the Orzhov Nurturing Pixie discard deck, of which I've tried a couple different variations in the past, and we're turning it Esper, so that we can add a couple of key cards that absolutely add an insane amount of value and make this deck sing like it's never sung before. I absolutely love it. Before we break down the deck and get to the gameplay, please like the video. Help me get it out to more people. I would appreciate it so much. It's all I'm asking for Christmas this year. So do me a favor and like the video, subscribe if you're new, and make sure you catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/quarantined Capricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Ho, ho, ho. Let's break it down. Alright, so this deck is absolutely nuts. We're going back to the sort of pixie discard decks that we've all seen on the ladder plenty of times, but we're taking this in a different direction. We're going Esper, and for a couple of key cards that are absolutely insane. So first of all, before we get to the new additions, let's talk about the core here. We're using Pixie, 1 mana 1/1 flyer. When it enters, return any non-fairy, non-land permanent that you control to its owner's hand, and if a permanent was returned this way, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on the Pixie. So we're trying to play things like Hopeless Nightmare and Tinybones Joins Up super early, make our opponent discard cards, bounce it back to our hand with the Pixie, play it again, make them discard more cards while getting a 2/2 flyer onto the field. We're also playing 4 copies of Bandit's Talent, which for 2 mana will also make our opponent discard a card and be a permanent, so we can bounce it to our hand with the Pixie if we want. Or, when our opponent's out of gas, we can start to level it up. At level 2, they start taking 2 damage every turn if they have less than 2 cards in their hand. At level 3, we start to draw an extra card every turn if they have less than 2 cards in their hand. So we can get some long-term value out of it that way. We're also using Invasion of Gobakhan, 3 of these. Now this is good for 2 different reasons. First of all, it helps us get even more things out of their hand. We want to play this early, we want to play this while we're curving, and we specifically want to hit the things in their hand that they want to curve out with, that we don't necessarily want to make them discard. So we want to save all of the best cards in their hand, the stuff that they're going to try to play a little bit later on, to make them discard before they actually get a chance to play it. But we hit like their 2-drop or their 3-drop or whatever with the Invasion of Gobakhan, so that by the time they can play it, we've already made them discard everything else, and then that thing that was going to be really good for them on turn 2 or turn 3 is nowhere near as good later on by the time they can play it on like turn 5. And so it doesn't really impact the board all that much, and all of the high value stuff is out of their hand by straight up discard with our 12 discard spells, or reusing them with Pixie. But one of the new cards we're using, and the reason we're adding blue, is Fear of Isolation. This is a 2/3 flyer for 2 mana. It counts as an enchantment creature, and as an additional cost to cast it, you return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. So this is kind of like another fairy. It's not as efficient as the Nurturing Pixie, because it's just a 2/3 flyer for 2, whereas the Pixie ends up being a 2/2 flyer for just 1, and they both kind of do the same thing. But it does count as an enchantment, which matters in this deck, and just having basically 8 Nurturing Pixies is good enough in a deck like this, where we're just trying to absolutely wreck their hand, get maximum efficiency out of all of these discard spells. Having 8 different creatures that can do that while putting a creature on the field is important. And the reason we want to put a creature on the field is we strip their hand of everything, and by the time they can try to stabilize, it's too late, because we can swing in for an almost auto kill out of nowhere with Ethereal Armor. We're playing 3 copies of this It is so easy to just get a Pixie or a Fear of Isolation to stick, empty out their entire hand. A lot of times they get scared about you emptying out their hand and they try to vomit everything onto the field as quick as possible. But if they do that, you just end up making them discard the few cards they have left, which is usually removal. And then when you do play the Ethereal Armor, they're out of gas. They have no way to remove the creature that you have the armor on. And you can just swing in for the win. Or against aggro, you can just hold up a huge First Striker and there's no way they can ever get through and kill you. We're also running 3 copies of Shard Mage's Rescue, because once we do have that creature on the battlefield, we can try and keep it there by responding to targeted removal with hexproof. And that's kind of just as good as discard, because we're making them waste a card out of their hand. The difference is they have to pay the mana to cast it, right? So in a way, it's almost better than discard, but we do have to kind of trick them into playing their removal and make them not play around the Shard Mage's Rescue and that sort of thing. But then it adds even more enchantments onto the board so that whatever we have the Ethereal Armor on is going to be even more buffed. What's great about Invasion of Gobakhan too is after we hit something from their hand and really screw up their curve and screw up their tempo plans, we can very easily swing in with a Pixie or a Fear of Isolation and flip Invasion of Gobakhan. It becomes a Light Shield Array. Not only does it start to make our attacker bigger every turn that it attacks by putting a counter on it, but we can sacrifice the Light Shield Array to give creatures we control hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So that ends up counting as almost like another 3 Shard Mage's Rescue in a way. Having the 3 Shard Mage's Rescue and the 3 Invasion of Gobakhan gives us a nice 6-card package of ways to protect our limited creatures so that our opponent can't take them off the board and we can just get in there and finish out the game. It actually works insanely well. And it also counts as an enchantment once it's flipped onto Light Shield Array, so it will also add power and toughness to Ethereal Armor, which is nice. We're also running 2 copies of Scrollshift because we can flicker any of these valuable permanents, have them re-enter, re-trigger their enters the battlefield abilities, and we get to draw an extra card, which is super, super nice. But the best card we want to use it on is Temporary Lockdown. 3 mana for an enchantment. When it enters, you exile each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less until Temporary Lockdown leaves the battlefield. And that's the key part, until it leaves the battlefield. So not only do we eat up all of their small creatures if they're an aggro deck, but we also exile all of these permanents that make our opponent discard, and even the Invasion of Gobakhan. And then, eventually, we can bounce the Lockdown to our hand with Fear of Isolation or Nurturing Pixie. And when we do, not only do we get the Lockdown back so that if we want to, we can recast it later, but everything that was under the Lockdown comes out from under it and re-triggers. So even if they did manage to keep some cards in their hand or rebuild their hand size, we just bounce the Lockdown. All of these discard spells come back and their whole hand goes away. Insane. We can do that with the Scrollshift too. If we hit a bunch of creatures with the Lockdown and we want to make sure they're still gone, but we also want to make them discard everything from their hand by re-triggering all of these discard spells, we just Scrollshift the Temporary Lockdown. They still have to discard everything because all of these enter the battlefield, but the Temporary Lockdown comes back into play and just exiles everything all over again, so all of their creatures are gone again, all of your discard permanents are gone again, but they still have to discard a bunch of cards. Absolutely crazy. The other blue card, and probably the best reason we're running blue in this deck, is This Town Ain't Big Enough. This card is nuts, and yes, this is a good enough reason to go blue all by itself. 1 blue and 4 for an instant. It costs 3 less to cast if it targets a permanent you control, and then you return up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. You can return one of your valuable permanents that lets you, replay it and make them discard even more cards. You can return your Invasion of Gobakhan. You can return your Shard Mage's Rescue so that you can have access to recasting it and getting hexproof all over again. You can even return your Nurturing Pixie if you want to eventually pick something up, but you're not quite ready to make that decision yet. And then you also bounce their thing. So even if they do manage to play an early creature or something important to the board early on, you just bounce it back to their hand, bounce your discard thing back to your hand, then replay the discard spell and make them discard the thing that you just bounced back to their hand. So it's a way of just getting rid of whatever they have on the battlefield, but it's also super versatile. You could choose to target 2 of your things, return 2 of your discard permanents to your hand, or 1 of them and a Shard Mage's Rescue. Like, the versatility is nuts. You could return the temporary lockdown to your hand to bring everything that's under it back and then recast it later, while also returning something else to someone's hand. So much versatility. And if you do get to a point where it's a little bit later in the game and you have access to 5 mana, you also do have the option of just playing it for the full 5 and just returning 2 of their things to their hand, especially if you're ready to like pick up a temporary lockdown and make them discard a whole bunch of cards. It won't matter if they're filling up their hand with stuff from the battlefield. In fact, it's good because that's like an indirect way of getting them off the battlefield forever after you make them discard them all. So really, really amazing in this deck in particular. And then we also have 1 copy of Zoraline. I felt like we needed just a little bit more in the creature department in this deck, and I was scratching my head at the idea of a 9th creature, and then I realized Zoraline was perfect. Not only does it come down as a creature you can protect with Shard Mage's Rescue, you can get counters on with Light Shield Array, and its Vigilance, so those counters matter even more because you can still be blocking while also attacking with it and getting the counters. You can also return the Shard Mage's Rescue, all sorts of craziness, but what makes Zoraline really impressive in this deck is every turn you can pay 2 mana when you swing, and you can return one of these permanents from the graveyard to the battlefield. And since everything in the deck, with the exception of the This Town Ain't Big Enough and the Scrollshifts, everything in the deck is a permanent that costs 3 or less, which means every single thing in the deck is something Zoraline can target and bring back. So it's also another way to get repeated value, and there's even a way to get a little bit of supplemental life gain, which I actually think ended up mattering a huge amount in one of the games. Very cool card, absolutely worth a 1-of slot in this. I wouldn't probably add more because the spaces in this deck for cards, it is very tight. It is very hard to find room for things. We're already only running 3 Shard Mage's Rescue, 3 Ethereal Armor, 2 Scrollshift. You definitely have to try to make things fit, but I do think the 1 copy is absolutely worth it. With it being legendary, I don't think more than 1 is worth it, but that 1 copy, chef's kiss, super happy. The mana base, if you want to know it exactly, it's in the description, so check out the deck list there, but there are a couple quick things I want to go over. First of all, most of the mana base is untapped lands because it's just, we want to start curving out immediately with a 1-drop on 1, make them discard, and play out everything every turn after that. If things start coming into play tapped turn 4, 5, 6, it doesn't matter as much because this deck is so cheap, so mana efficient, that our mana doesn't matter as much in those later turns. We're also running 1 Valgavoth's Lair because it does count as an enchantment and helps with the Ethereal Armor. 1 Mirrex so that we can make token creatures if we're super desperate, so that we have something to put Ethereal Armor on. And then also just 1 Restless Anchorage, because if this swings in, it can make map tokens, and along with using the map tokens the way they're intended, it also gives us like a plan C way of using a couple of the cards in this deck, such as This Town Ain't Big Enough, where we have to be able to target one of our own permanents to return in order to get the cost reduction. If we're super desperate and we really have only things in play that we don't want to return, that we want to keep on the battlefield, like a Zoraline or something like that, we can just target the map token and get that cost reduction down to 2 mana and target their thing to get it off the field, like a Shielded or something that's about to kill us. So if we're desperate, sometimes those map tokens can be a nice little bit of extra silver lining value in this deck. But that's the deck. I kind of love it. Let's check out the games. I think we can keep it, even though it's slow. We've got no pain lands, which is nice, which means we're probably not up against aggro. I'm gonna guess we're up against control, just based on what our opening hand looks like. Let's get a look at his hand and see if I'm right. Not so much. I guess we probably want to just stop his curve from being good. Let's get rid of that. He can play the bunny corn. The bunny corn. I mean, we definitely want a Pixie, right? So I guess we'll go Bandit's Talent. Well, maybe we should have bounced the Gobakhan so that we could choose something that he couldn't play next turn. He discarded 2 lands. Oh, okay. Okay. Alright, so we'll keep the Gobakhan down. We're going to try to swing at it and flip it next turn. Plays the Enduring Innocence. Wants to draw some cards. Would you like to attack? He would not like to attack. He has idea. We has idea. See if it pays off. Sure. There will be none of that. Alright. The Sheltered by Ghosts that he fetched, he got rid of. Amazing. Feather, sure. Swing, flip, that's fine. We'll end up bouncing it eventually. Hopefully. Hopefully. Whenever another enchantment you control enters, draw a card. Really worried about him racing us. I'm really, really worried. I think this is the right call. I kind of want to level up the Bandit's Talent, but I think this is the right call. This might, just might, make him hesitant about attacking. Which is kind of all I want right now, is for him to second guess attacking me. I don't think he attacks unless he has an instant speed enchantment, like the thing that gives hexproof, the Shard Mage's Rescue. Because whichever one we double block to try to kill, he can make it survive. 9. I mean, we might want to just flip the Gobakhan. I think we gotta take it. Think we gotta take it. Nope, it was a spellbook vendor. We're gonna attack and flip one Gobakhan. Get a light shield array. We're gonna play blue. Fear of Isolation on the Pixie. I mean, we're not going to get the counter, but we do have 3 blockers with a light shield array up. Now he's tapped out. Indestructible. Crack the light shield array. Kill the bunnycorn. Turn off the indestructible for Afara. Not that that necessarily matters, but gotta make him discard everything. And we can. Let's go. Hello, sir. Get out of here. Get out of here. No attacks. Just need to survive now. He didn't attack. That is wonderful. Boom. 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 No attacks. Take 6. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Hey, thanks for the raid, Team Big Brain. I appreciate it greatly, my friend. Are any of the decks worth buying? Hard to say. Hard to say. Do we take the 4? Do we take the 4? The lifelink is what makes it really tough. Six, 12. 4, 6, 12. Damn it. No blocks. Because we have lethal. If he doesn't have a way to pump this. Here goes nothing. Here goes nothing. Here goes nothing. Bandit's talents trigger for lethal? Haha, let's go. Let's go. Can we draw anything but lands, please? I'm gonna keep this. It's a shitty hand. We have nothing but pain lands and no blue. But it's just barely keepable. So we're keeping it. Veteran Survivor. I think we need the blue down. Right? So we'll do it like this. Yeah, that's what I'm starting to figure out. Cyrodiil. I need to get better at drawing. Right? I need to get better at drawing the right cards. That's 100% the problem. Alright. We have a decent blocker now. Make him discard some more. Split Skin Doll. Veteran Survivor. Alright, doesn't attack with the other one. That's pretty decent for us. We're not drawing any of the things we need. No attacks. Somehow we've flooded again. Even though we started with only 2 lands. Somehow, the Emperor has come back. Show you a great door deck. Should probably attack first, huh? Get out of here. We're gonna try to flip it with the Restless Anchorage. That's the reason I did that. It is a little risky. We lose a life in order to play it, and he's playing an aggressive deck. Oh god. Of course he top decks the Get Lost. Of course he does. Dude. This game, man. I can't take it anymore. Arena is so biased. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Alright, we're gonna hit 2. Here we go. You. Mill a card and lose a life. And we're going to take a lot of damage here just to get a temporary lockdown out. I swear to God, if it milled a Dollmaker shop so that you could find another Get Lost, I'm going to lose my mind. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Give me that life. Give me that sweet, precious 1 life. End the turn. 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬. Sure. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Okay. Discard 𝐻𝐫𝐞𝐬. I don't want to hear it. We're going to swing. We're going to gain a life. Do we level up the bandit's talent? That's the one question. I think we got a race, right? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. He would have to kill the Zoraline and have a way to do an extra point of damage to us. Scrollshift. Okay. Like, I kind of want to level this up so we can draw more cards. But also, he's so close to dead that we're going to kill him next turn, right? So I think I'd rather hold up the ability to scroll shift. Also hold up the ability to... Oh, you know what? I think we win. Yeah, we scroll shift the lockdown. And the Hopeless Nightmare makes him lose 2. We got our only 2 tapped lands in the entire deck in our opening hand. What are the chances of that? Do we keep it, though? I mean, it's slow, but we're also on the go. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. It could be a mistake. But I'm gonna try it. Warden, sure. We don't need the blue yet, so we'll just do this. Come on, Hansel. Where's Gretel? And we're going to start with the Pixie. Because I don't think he's going to waste his removal on the Pixie. And I also don't think he's going to be able to attack with the Warden if we have the Pixie down. So I think it's worthwhile. Well, we're going to make you discard everything. Could have just played the Concealed Courtyard, but... who wants to do that? He's discarding the expensive things. That's really good for us. Because we're going to temporary lock down everything else. Let's go. Virtue of Loyalty, sure. Okie dokie. No blocks, we'll take 3. Do we lock down right now? I think we do. pretty out of gas. And if we need to, we can bounce this or flicker it or whatever. Like, yeah, he'll get a couple creatures, but he'll have to discard a bunch. Pass turn. If he attacks, we block with the Anchorage. If he doesn't attack... Okay. He did attack. Get rid of this thing first. Lay down arms. Interesting. Okay. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Pass. Dun 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 dun. Oh shit, I forgot about the battle cry. I should have done this beforehand. I also should have bounced the bunny corn. I'm just making play mistakes, boys. It's fine. It's fine. We'll take 5. A little bit of Erica in my life. We just want to get the Hopeless Nightmare down so that we can bounce it next turn with the Fear. Basically. Plays the Virtue of Loyalty, sure. You're very close to having lethal. Alright. Next turn, we should have it. Bunnycorn. Bandit's Talent. Let's go. Goodbye. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, kind sir. This is a little bit slow, but it's fine. I'm seeing a pattern here that, like, we have so many 1-drops in the deck, but we just never start with any of them in our opening hand, and I don't know why that is. But the entire deck is built off of being as fast as we can be, to the point where we very carefully crafted the mana base to not have any tapped lands in the first 3 turns. Specifically because playing something every turn the first 3 turns is so important, including that 1-drop on 1. So the fact that we keep not getting them is a little disheartening. Not gonna lie. We are gonna play another Bandit's Talent, because we're probably gonna temporary lockdown them next turn, and then Scrollshift the temporary lockdown to get 2 discards off the Scrollshift instead of 1. Ooh, to hit a Wandertail Mentor in the meantime. Very nice. Pass the turn. We want to make sure we keep a black mana. So we're going to scroll shift. Sure, you get your mentor back, but you also have to discard 2 cards. Oh wait, no, because the scroll shift means it just all goes away again. That's amazing. That's amazing. I forgot that we were blinking it with scroll shift, not bouncing it, so that's amazing. Alright, now we'll start to take over the game here. Discard your hand, sir. And we will pass the turn. Thanks, Hillbilly. Yeah, it's over. It's over. Alright, do we keep this? We have none of our early discard. Again. But we are on the draw. And we've got all of our colors. We're just going to try and keep it. We're just going to try and keep it. Do we even play the Pixie? I don't think we do. Feels weird, but we gotta do what we can do. So we're gonna go white here. Pass turn. Basically just gonna use the lockdowns and the stopgaps to hold off the opponent for now. Since we can just bounce this later, there's no reason to not play it now. We get to reuse the lockdown over and over and over again. Authority of the Consuls, sure. Alright. Let's do this. Let me think for a second. Bargain, bounce. All right, let's do it this way. Kaboomba! Everything is gone again. No more Authority of the Consuls. Another one! Another one! Fine. I'll play your game, you rogue. I will play your game, you rogue. Oh, he's just gonna scoop. Okay. This time we have a lot of blue things we want to cast, though. But I mean, we can Bandit's Talent on 2, and then Pixie again, and then Bandit's Talent. We might be okay. I'm gonna try it. Probably should mulligan this. My gut says this is the kind of hand we should probably mulligan, typically. But we're gonna take a chance. We are going to take a chance. Discard a card, sir. And then we will Pixie. Terramorphic Expanse, okay. Okay. He's a little bit slowed down, so that's probably actually really good for us. Bandit's Talent. Swing in for 2. So Whisper of the Dross is the first card. He must be playing Dimir Poison. He discarded another Whisper of the Dross. Interesting. Vraska's Fall, sure. Discard another card, sir. And Fear of Isolation while we have the blue. Probably important. Does mean we can't use our this town ain't big enough, but I think that's okay. Augury. We need to start burning him down. We need to race his poison, which I think we can do. Auto pay. That's fine. You mean I get rid of 2 cards? Cool. Cool. I am completely all about that. Another Augury puts me at 3. Yeah, that's just not going to be enough. He's not going to be able to keep up. He's not going to be able to keep up. Yep, he's out. You're out of there, buddy. It's a bummer that our black mana is a pain land, but it looks decent. We can keep it. Oh, the champion deck's in the store, Sean? Honestly, I haven't looked at them that much. We can check it out in a little bit, though. Alright. Make you discard, turn inside out. We're playing against aggro. Glorious. Glorious. Which means we gotta hold up Shard Mage's Rescue. Instead of recasting the Hopeless Nightmare. But honestly, it's pretty good to recast those after we've got him to commit some stuff to the board anyway. Alright, so now he has to have a Lightning Strike. And even so, we slow down his tempo so hard by doing this. Emberheart Challenger. That's it? That's all you got for me? That's all you got for me? Alright. We're gonna go ham then. I think this game is over. This is exactly the kind of deck that you want the Ethereal Armors in for. No attack. Not only do we have a 6/6 that he needs 3 shocks or 2 lightning strikes to kill, but we also have first strike, which means we can block all day, and he can't get halfway there through combat damage. I think it's just an auto lose for him right now. Don't know what you're thinking, sir. First strike. You must not realize the first strike. Welcome to First Strike. Welcome to First Strike. Population 0. We're gonna bounce the Shard Mage's armor. I could have played a Hopeless Nightmare instead. Just got rid of his last card. I'm not that worried about it. No blocks. No blocks. Alright, let's get rid of your last card. And now we gotta race that Hopeless Nightmare if we can. I mean, we've got lethal next turn, so we just need to survive this turn. What's your last card, sir? Dreadmaw's Ire. (4/4). So we would be a 3/4. Yeah. Shard Mage's Rescue isn't going to help us, but we have lethal anyway. In fact, we'll just do this now. Since you're out of gas, my friend. Smash. Alright, we're gonna keep this. We'll make it work. Start with the Hopeless Nightmare. We finally have a good hand for once. Our opponent must be on a win streak. That's the only possible explanation. Alright, we'll hit the talent. Make him discard another card. 2 Aftermath Analysts in the yard. Wild. Wild. Well, we'll go, Pixie, the Nightmare, and then we'll play the Nightmare. Make him discard. We're gonna pass the turn. Hold up Shard Mage's Rescue. You could argue the Pixie's not important enough to try to protect. Maybe I should have leveled up the Bandit's talent instead. It's all good. I will take 3 damage, sir. Doesn't have reach. I mean, I think we just race it. I think we can pretty easily race it. End the turn. What else we got? What else we got here, boys? Smashes in with a 3/3. No blocks. We'll take it. It's a good old-fashioned race. Destroy all creatures. I mean... Bummer. but he also has 0 board, which is kind of awesome. Kind of awesome. Let's do this. And level you up and not play the Hopeless Nightmare. And hold up the Shard Mage's Rescue. So now we'll be hitting him for 2 with the Bandit's Talent. We'll be hitting him for 2 with the Nurturing Pixie. And all is right in the world. Next turn we can level up Bandit's Talent. Honestly, I think we just want to hold up this town ain't big enough. And Shard Mage's Rescue. We can always scroll shift. It's on the turn. Sunfall. Sunfall. Forget you. You get no 1/1 token. Sir. That's right. Waste your treasure. Waste your Sunfall. What a goober. What a goober. Alright, we're going to level up the Bandit's Talent. Start drawing cards. New 𝐂𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐚. Mossborn Hydra, sure. Do we have a way to bounce? Doesn't look like we have a way to bounce. Non-fairy, non-land. Well, we'll do this. 2. 2. And then we will pass. I guess we probably could have just killed him with the Hopeless Nightmare. But we still can. We can scroll shift.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
You are, in fact, back, Warlock. Welcome. Interesting. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna actually start with the Darkslick Shores. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us. You and I. Alright, we'll make him discard another card. Another Tinybones Joins Up. We've only got 3 of these instead of 4 because they are legendary. Do we Gobakhan? I think maybe we Gobakhan. Try to slow him down. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. I don't like that. I don't like Caretaker's Talent either, though. Or Enduring Innocence. I don't like any of these cards. What are you doing to me? I guess Enduring Innocence can go. Alright, Archive. Archive is here. Where is my land? Well. Do this the old-fashioned way. I guess we'll do it like this. Grab the Tinybones. Get our 2/3 down. Hey, at least all the tokens that he makes we can clean up with the temporary lockdown. That seems good. Hey, a land. What a guy. Get rid of a card. Get rid of a card. Now, put your talent back in your hand. There will be none of that. Felidar retreat, huh? Well, we're gonna hold off a little bit. We're gonna do this. Hit him with the Tinybones. We'll bounce the Tinybones. Get out the fear. Plays the Caretaker's talent. Authority of the Consuls. Alright. Well, he's got no cards left in hand. All that means is we're gonna have to put a card in his hand. Right? We'll start with you. And we'll take back our Invasion of Gobakhan. And then we'll play the Tinybones Joins Up and make you discard it. 𝐁𝐫𝐞𝐳. And then we swing with Fear of Isolation. Pass the turn. See? Once the deck gets going the way it's supposed to, it's banana. Hopeless Nightmare. Discard your card. Why, thank you, sir. I'll thank you, kind sir. We'll just put it down because we want to try to flip it. We want to try to flip it. Another Caretaker's talent, but nothing to copy. Oh, he's just going to throw it away. He's just going to throw it away, guys. Amazing. Amazing. Let's see. What do we want to do here? 2. I guess we get down this just to, like, get it out there. And we'll go like this just 'cause we can. And then we'll go like this and flip it. And now we'll just start winning. We'll just start racing him. The Light Shield Array protects our board. The Bandit's talent's going to start pinging him every turn. He's just leveling up his Caretaker's talents. Sure. Sure thing, friend. I want to get rid of it, but I also want to level up the Bandit's talent. That is a problem. That is a problem. I guess we do it like this. Get rid of your card. We will swing for 5. End the turn. Put some counters on. Get lost? Okay. He scoops. He scoops! Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.